And I joined as a Navy officer.
5 generations of my family have served in the Indian Army. Hi
Hi.
guys. So in today's video we are talking about, as you must have read in the title, we are talking about Indian military and Korean military. We are not doing a comparison in terms of the strength of the military or anything like that. We are just basically, because of our backgrounds, just going to talk about just the life of Ghonu as an officer in the Korean military, and for me as a family member of someone who served in the Indian military.
Yeah. After I studied, after finish my studying here, so I went back to Korea, and it was 2008, and I joined as a Navy officer. So there was training for 2 months, and then I served additional 3 years as a short service. So as a Navy officer. So in Korea, military service is compulsory for everybody, unless you have some health issues, something or the other. Otherwise, you have to minimum 18 months to, like me, or 2 years, 3 years, or you can extend also if you want to. So yeah, but me, I serve as a Navy officer for 3 years and 2 months in Korea.
So yeah, I think that is one major difference between Indian military and Korean military, that here in India it's not compulsory and in Korea it's compulsory. One, and another thing is, like, we have a different system in terms of training period that a candidate has to go through. Like, if you're a permanent commission officer, at least in the army, that's what I know, and I think it's for all defense services. It's a common training program. So for Indian candidates, basically the training period is of two kinds. You have a training period. If you go to NDA, it's a total of 4 years, I think, and then if you go to OTA, which is for short service commission officers, it's for a year. It's for 1 year. And how long was your training period?
So minus 2 months, but before my commission officers are 4 months. So it was kind of lucky, the batch for us that we have some reduced the training time for 2 months. But I don't know, I should say lucky or not. But in my case, I want to say I was lucky.
So let me get into my background. So I belong to a Fauji family. Like, 5 generations of my family have served in the Indian Army. My great grandfather, my grandfather, my dad, and even my uncle and my brother also. And my brother and my dad both were short service commission officers, and so they did their training in OTA. And so that is my background. Like, I'm a very proud Fauji kid, and and Ghonu also obviously is a very proud Korean military officer, ex-military officer. Like, in my experience, as far as I know, a lot of Korean men are not so inclined towards military service, and which is probably understandable. I guess everybody has their own goals in life and different take on this. I don't know, and I'm not sure. I mean, it's just been my experience. But Ghonu is one person that I came across, and luckily for me, because I am from such a hardcore military family background, he was very proud of his Navy service.
Yes, I am.
I mean, he was very proud of it, to a point, to an extent wherein I told him if he wants to continue doing his Navy service, he can continue with that. But he chose otherwise because he wanted to marry me.
It's like I'm very proud of something like that. I enjoyed, when I was there during my service time. So I don't know. Many people talk about serving military is hard and not easy, something or the other. Yeah, it can be training point and initial point. Yeah, yes, because you have to adjust with the new environment and with people and all. But once that point is done, I think you start enjoying it. Like you start. It's like the working, like working environment, like working with colleagues, and obviously there's a rank differences because it's military. So which have to follow the orders. That's the only difference thing between the private sector and this military defense sector. But yeah, so but I enjoy somehow. So even some people told me, that you are very fit to this military service. Why don't you continue? I say I'm sorry, no, because I want to be, the Roma runner of the world. So I rather, skip it. So that's why I didn't continue. I just retired. It was October, but my batchmates, they became, the captain rank right one day after I retired. Like, the first November was, I think they became
This was which year, by the way?
2011. So first December, so they became captain. Me, I retired, so I just one rank below, so I retired.
So now we are just going to discuss a few things that I saw, like a major difference between Korean military and Indian military in terms of like family life or the kind of benefits that you get. So I just so we thought it'll be fun to just discuss few of the things that I've experienced in my life, which are a very key part of my life, and how I noticed whether these things are available for Korean military officers or candidates or not. So first, let's get into the canteen services. I mean, I think a lot of people already know. So in India, we have a CSD canteen, a canteen from where all the ex-military officers, serving military officers, not just officers, all ranks can go and purchase household goods and stuff like that at non-taxable prices, and which is a very great benefit. And it is not something there in Korea, right? You don't have something like that.
The goods tax you're talking about, right?
Like for us, it's like you have a specific canteen space that you
So-
go and purchase. You can't just go and purchase from any shop,
In
right?
Korea, it's different. Like I'm not sure whether I'm correct or wrong, because during my servicing time, I know that there is no such thing was available. Even the retired time also, which I don't get any benefit about it because I'm short service officer. Only thing we could get was only this alcohol point, which we did, but not like here. Here they going and buy easily with without tax price, whatever it comes to.
And we have a certain quota every month. So
Quota, yeah,
my
but-
dad can only buy within that quota.
But still, that quantity still one person can buy is above 2-3 bottles, right?
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that. So, but in our case, it's like it comes with a dedicated department wise. So each department have a list of the alcohol list, and from there we can select how many. The quantities also mentioned there, 1 or 2, whatever is dedicated. So from there we can choose among ourselves in the team in department itself. So obviously start with the higher rank to the lower side. So eventually when it gets to choose from my side, there are like maybe a couple of things only left. So from there we discuss with other sergeants who is going to take what. So and then that's how we got it. But I mean it's not the bad ones. It's good alcohols and all.
And second is a similar thing, a ration system for serving officers, wherein like now basic food items like eggs if you're a non-vegetarian, and like rice and oil and these kind of things, the basic items that are used in your household for cooking and all, that are given to us for free during the time that you're serving in the military. And that is definitely not there in Korea. Or
I never heard of it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the long-term officers, but yeah, I've never heard of it.
Third is the club system that we have, DSY, the Defense Service Officers Institute, where all army officers serving, ex-army, not just army, I mean to say all defense officers and ex-serving officers, even the short service commission officers are entitled to go and use the services, to dine, to use a bar, or to use services in terms of holding their events and stuff like that, including marriage, like things like that. And so that is a very key part of the Indian Defense Services, an area where you can go and interact with other officers and families and stuff like that. And I'm not sure if Korea.
So how do I say, here there is a DSY. Korea also have not the, how do I say, there are similar kind of the buildings are there, like for each, like Navy, Army, like Air Force, separate buildings are there. So they have like this kind of club, we can say club kind of thing, but it's like a eating restaurant style. So from there we can book that area and then we can do some celebrations, that kind of thing we can also do. and so there is a the hotel is also there beside together, so you can also stay. If
The
you
hotel is owned by the.
owned by the, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, owned by the this defense only. So for the like serving officers, they get the
Subsidized.
the lowest rate which is applied. But like me, retired ones, which is short service, which I'm not applicable. So I'll be getting charged for full amount, not the discount amount. So that's the benefit which you get for the officers. A little long-term officers, yes, they do get benefits from here.
I think similar to what we have here, because we have guest houses, like guest houses that are part of DSY or not even sometimes part of DSY, and you get those benefits. Fourth, being medical is such a key aspect of or a benefit that you get if you serve in the Indian military, because like for my parents, I feel so comfortable that they have this service, and so medical is absolutely free for them. And of course they have to go through a process, but it's pretty easy. And now even in private sector they can get, especially the ex army officers, the ex defense officers can go and get themselves treated in the private hospitals also, following certain norms and stuff like that. But that is one of the best benefits that they get out here. But I think in Korea that's not applicable only.
I don't think so. I think Korea health system is, I think, the same for all. Like we had this health department has this insurance point, which all employees can have the benefit from the government side only. So basically, for us it's a good thing, because which means we don't pay much in the hospital fees, like the consultation charge. It's very minimum. It's like 200 rupees, 300 rupees. Like any employees can go like in their bare minimum consultation.
So that's
charges.
like a universal health system, which
Yeah, so
in
it's
India
but
is the
yeah,
way to
but
it.
in this case, in India, I feel it's better, because for those who served for the country after their retirement, it's kind of they're taken care of by the government, from the country. But in Korea, I'm not sure whether I'm correct or not, but that's not the case.
Because government, please understand, knows a lot about how things work for ex-military officers here in India, because he's experienced it with my dad. Fifth, being accommodation in terms of when you are serving in the military. So of course, I think most of you know that we have a cantonment system, and serving officers get accommodation there for their families. And so we don't have any, nobody has to worry about the rent. That's not even a concept. So
I cannot record it, but yeah, I also stayed this accommodation provided by the military only. I think I pay. I think we pay monthly. I think, but obviously not very high, because since we're serving, I think we pay like this maintenance, bare minimum maintenance, like maybe a couple of thousand rupees, or like monthly fee is very bare minimum also, like not very expensive. I think I pay something like that.
okay, and then another being education. So for most 4G kids, we can each cantonment that your father gets posted at, you can avail the subsidized. I think it's subsidized, really subsidized education at the army school, and some of them are really good. And so yeah, that was my life. But in my case it was slightly different, because until I was 10, I studied in army schools at various different camps, and then after that I went to a boarding school, which was my dad's choice. Like, he wanted to send me to a boarding school, so that was it. But I know that most 4G kids go to army schools, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, in our case there is no. I don't think there is such kind of thing. in
Not
Korea.
required.
No.
Okay, the camera is moving because of Young Jay. Just a second. So yeah, as we were talking, in Korea it's not required, because education
It's a common for
system
all.
is pretty good.
It's
Yeah.
common for all, right?
It's common for all.
Yeah.
And then being sports facilities, again, in canned areas, that's a huge difference that I feel, because now I am a civilian, like I live a civilian life, and I see kids having a very different kind of upbringing than what I had, because all these sports facilities were so easily accessible to us, like the swimming pool, the basketball court, the gym, and squash court, and so many things. And I think that gave me a very good basic upbringing where sports was a very integral part of my life, always since childhood. And I guess again, so because camps in India do provide you that kind of thing, which I think for Ghonu is also something not easy to understand, because he's never seen a cant. He's
No.
never seen how things work in a cant. He's only seen me in my civilian life. So yeah, we keep turning our heads because of Youngjae. And in Korea,
I think there was some
wait, one second. Do you have a cantonment system? Like, do you have a separate area for?
yeah. It's military is a military, right? So it's
But even for family members.
no, only for the serving people. I think military. So it's like right after the gate. So their accommodation area starts. So which even the anybody can access, but from the gate owners only the serving people only.
So basically, the gated area is only for
Military.
officers to go and work and come out. And then once you come out, step out of it, you have like a
Yeah.
living area, like apartments and all, where even civilians can live, even military officers.
No, it's not civilian can leave, but it's for the military people only. But what I'm saying,
Okay.
civilian can access
Okay,
easily
fine.
because it's
Yeah.
not the military area, right?
Yeah, because in
it's,
India it's
out,
controlled.
of the this control area. So yeah. Sports wise, so she was saying, in Korea, I think there is sports thing in Korea also in the military, which I have not done anything much, so which I have no idea. But yeah, but I've seen the the swimming pools and things are available there also. But not like here. I don't think not like family members and go there and enjoy the facilities or something like that. Because Korea, it's like in the generally it's already available everywhere. Like school also, like basketball court, football field, everything's already available. Even swimming pool, indoor swimming pool, outdoor swimming pool also already available. So
But you
can
have
go.
to pay for everything, right?
That's there. But yeah.
So next being posting, and I guess most of you already know. I mean, but I'm assuming if there are some Koreans listening to this, then they probably don't know. We have a posting system, and in the army it's different, in navy it's different, in air force it's different. Basically, the duration is different. In the army, it's mostly 2 years to 2.5 years. You keep shifting your base from one city to another, and India is a huge country, so you get the opportunity to basically live all over India, which is great. Like, that's one of the best parts of serving in the military. And in Air Force, I think it's 5 years. In Indian Navy, it's almost 10 years also, because you have a smaller number of bases. And what about Korea?
Since Korea is a small country, so but in my case, during my 3 years of servicing time, I have posted another area for once. So basically 2 areas I've served initial, and then after that I got posted to another city. So I think it's 2 years, 2-3 years. I think every 2 or 3 years, I think they get shifts with all shift as in location wise, or it can be within that area like a department wise, so something like that.
And last being pension, again a very, very good benefit that the military personals get in India. They all get their pension after retirement. And as a daughter of an retired army officer, I feel very comfortable knowing that my parents are financially independent and can really take care of, they don't really have to depend on me for anything, medical, finance or anything after they
Nothing.
get retired. They've been taken care of by the government, and it's a great thing. And yeah, so I think in India, Ghonu is very aware about it, and even I don't know about Korea. But Korea has a
Korea is again common pension
Common
system.
pension system, yeah.
Yeah. So eventually after you retire, you start getting paid, from the government side. Like obviously certain money is going to be how they say deposited from your salary base.
You pay for that every month.
Yeah, you keep paying every month. So and then that becomes all together after the retirement to start getting back.
Which is, I think, now the system in other government services in India. So I'm not very clear, but yeah. Okay, so that is it. I think that was guys. I just want to clarify. It's just a comparison on the kind of the things that we noticed, but we have a great understanding because, of course, kind of environment we live in. Even in this current society where we are living, also many retired army persons are living. So we are still constantly always talking about these things, a lot of them are sometimes curious about what it was like to serve in the Korean Navy, and they have questions for Gohanu off and on, and yeah, so it's just based on that experience we've made this video. And yeah, he wanted to add something about his training period.
Yeah, so it was like basically, the Kadambari came to Korea mid-August of 2008. Which we'll get back to that point later with another story. So she came to study in Korea. So that was like 15 days before I'm joining the military. So I had to, run to Seoul and, roam around here and there, look for the perfect place to stay. So, as much as I could before I joined the military, because I knew that after joining 2 months, I won't be able to get in touch with her. So, which means I have no idea how she's living, how she's handling, and it's new environment for her. So that I had to, handle it. She was really, the babe.
I'll make a video of my experience later.
Yeah, she will. And then during the time also, like during the training time, I'm not allowed to use mobiles. Obviously, my mobile is already deposited in the this cupboard and all. And so I'm looking at the training officers. I'm like requesting them maybe maybe I can use one phone call to check whether she's okay or not. I wrote multiple letters to her, which I never received a single reply. That is after
I did reply.
You did. What I'm saying is I did not receive for a long time. Suddenly one day I received a bunch all together, and then I realized okay, she's okay.
But I don't think so. I wrote written letters. I think I was supposed to write it on some sort of system.
In the computer website is given there, so you can do something.
And that's the reason I couldn't write often, because I don't know how to access that system. I had one Uppa used to help me out do that,
So
and then sometimes I would
after
write
that
back.
I become so relieved. I'm like okay, now she's okay.
So
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. A couple of people had asked us to write about this Korean military service and what is the system like. So we thought we'll do a video like this. And if you have any questions, just drop them below in the comment box and we'll get to them. And yeah, just give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah.
Bye.